have a meeting after this meeting? Are you starting your meeting now? Up after? I'll be here. Come up. Yeah, text me. Okay.
So we'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to the final Police Services Board meeting for the year 2019. I'll look for any disclosure. Seeing none, we'll jump right into the meeting. I'll caution the public that this meeting will probably be brief as we've got a lot of things done throughout the year. So not seeing any new business items today to be added. So look for a motion for the minutes of the November 21st, 2019 public meeting. Moved by Deputy Mayor Helmer, seconded by the Mayor. All those in favor? Carries. I might not even turn off the mic this whole time. Quarterly reports on crime stoppers and pursuits. Deputy McIntyre.
Thank you. Before you is the third quarter report. These are delayed, so that's my apology for that. They have been reviewed and there is nothing noteworthy as it relates to trends. So we like to report out to show kind of a snapshot in time and how did that compare to previous years. And so you'll see both in the pursuit and in the, of course, our Crime Stoppers report that we are on par. There's nothing spectacular about them, but I would they're before you, Chair, so if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Deputy. I look to the board for any discussion. Great. Councillor Helmer, Deputy Helmer.
Just briefly, I know we have these reports sort of on a quarterly basis. I would imagine that at some point in time, you look over a longer period of time to see is anything changing. I don't want to look too closely at these years here, but do you see any changes happening in terms of the kinds of pursuits that officers are getting involved with, the ones where they're following policy or sometimes not, the number of times pursuits have to be discontinued? Do you see anything over the longer period of time where it's of concern, any kind of adjustments that need to be made?
Absolutely. So we look at it 5 years. We can go back further. The report we report on is a 5-year trend, and when we look at that, and oftentimes it is where I specifically drill into is what was the reason for the pursuit. We know that pursuits are heavily legislated. It's in the PSA, and of course our procedures are mirrored against that to follow all of the rules and regulations. And there's a 3-part test in different OREGs that looks at why did we have reasonable grounds to believe an offense had committed? Was the need to stop the fleeing motor vehicle, did that outweigh the risk that our attempt to do that would create in the public? And oftentimes, what we see is the officer's perception of that last point. Did the need to stop the fleeing motor vehicle outweigh the risk to the public? Oftentimes, when you'll see reported in the stats, were they in compliance? Often at review, we determine that they're not. And that is for sure a teaching point. And then, of course, every one of those pursuits are heavily reviewed. There's a white paper that's submitted, and then recommendations go back so that we constantly tweak training and then educate out. So in that 5 years, to answer your question, nothing concerning. We don't see any radical changes over the course of that span, but constantly improving, constantly teaching.
Great. Any other speakers? Seeing none, moved by Deputy Mayor Helmer, seconded by Jeff. All those in favor? Carries. Great. So there's no new business on the agenda. So we're almost at the conclusion of the meeting. So the date of the next meeting is Thursday, January 16, 2019. I'll just make sure I look to any other board members if there's anything added or anything else from administration. Not seeing anything. So I'll look for a motion to adjourn the public meeting. Moved by Deputy Mayor Helmer, seconded by the mayor. All those in favor? Carries. And before we go, so just to confirm, January 16th is the meeting of our next meeting. This would be technically my last meeting chairing this meeting. And in January, we'll have an election at that time. Maybe there'll be some change, and we'll go from there. So again, as well, I recognize that we no longer have member Vanessa with us today. That's unfortunate, but we'll continue to work and engage with our appropriate channels, and I'll consider some time to reflect over the holidays to see what we need to do moving forward and continue to have those conversations. So I'll look to the public to see if they're, yep, go ahead. The Mayor.
Thanks very much. I don't want this to be premature, and if it is, you'll tell me, but thank you very much. I've been in this capacity now as the second youngest member in term with the Police Services Board. You've done a great job, and I just want to say thanks for your leadership for all the time I served as chair, and I know I speak on behalf of the board when I say it is sincerely appreciated. You're very thoughtful and wise, and from time to time particularly articulate, but I do want to say thank you very much. You've done a great job, sir.
Thank you, and I didn't pay him to say that, but thank you so much. So I'll look to members of the public. Not seeing any members of the public. There was 2 that indicated they'd be here with some comment for me. Feel free to reach out to me directly if you'd like to engage, and we'll go from there. But not seeing any other members of the public. I'll wish you guys all a happy holidays, Christmas, and any other holidays. Take care.